you. All right. Welcome, everybody, to our monthly Copywriting Clinic. Copywriting Clinic is an opportunity to not only learn tips about copywriting and just have fun conversations, but you get to bring what you're working on and get real-time feedback from some professional copywriters. Basic rule, be excellent to each other. So, obviously keep all feedback respectful and constructive. And, everyone is welcome to unmute, to offer tips and offer thoughts as we go along. We're not definitely like the end all gurus over here. So, if you have a thought, speak up. You're also welcome to utilize the Zoom chat as well. Especially that gets fun when we're working on different things and, you might have some specific copy ideas. Utilize that Zoom chat. I'd love to get a temperature check of the room. So I know Nelson he's got, correct me if I'm wrong, Nelson, it's a friend of yours that has a lead magnet they're developing. Will you say a little bit about that?
Yes, my girlfriend Eliza is building a practice as a relationship coach with a focus on polyamorous relationships. So she recently wrote a lead magnet, which I emailed you the PDF. And the email also has a link to her website, which if y'all want to take a look at that, that's pretty well along the lead magnet is mainly just text, and she realizes it needs some fleshing out with graphics and so forth. But any constructive feedback is very welcome.
Great. All right, so that'll be one thing we're going to take a look at today. And then I know Agnieszka's got some topics that we can discuss a little bit. And I'm curious, anybody else here? Anyone else bring anything you'd like us to take a look at today? All right, cool. So where do you think we should start, Agnieszka? Do you want to soapbox for a little bit, or should we take a look at the PDF first?
I don't know. I think it depends on Nelson. Nelson, do you have time? Are you here for the whole thing? Do you have to run halfway through? What's your schedule like?
No, I've got the time today, so I'm happy with however you want to order things.
I'm pretty easygoing myself. Cool. Is it good? Is the microphone good?
Yeah.
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 I have the microphone behind the fan.
Nice.
Hello, Michael. Nice to see you.
Yeah, hi, Michael.
Same here. Great to see you all.
Yeah.
Looking forward to this.
Well, Agnieszka, why don't you talk for a minute? I'll kind of get this other stuff ready to go, and I'll pipe in where I can.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask some questions. How many? I see that, Pete. I see that. Okay, is this better? Oops, is this better?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, I just saw you like trying to hear,
No,
so I knew that my.
I want to make sure I hear your questions. That's all.
Yeah, no worries. So how many of you guys haven't attended the season yet? How many of you guys are new for the upcoming season starting tomorrow? Pete?
Yep.
Aaron? And is Van from the previous season, or is Van new too?
I think Van is
Oh,
new too.
you're new too?
Awesome.
Cool. Nice to see you guys. So I'm going to ask some questions just generally. We have covered this in some of the classes, but maybe people don't remember. Maybe Cody won't remember. So we'll see. I just saw you looking away, Cody. So when you get your clients on the mailing list, how do you maintain that mailing list? Do you try to what do you guys know about it? Why don't we just go around the room quickly and talk about what you know about mailing lists? Why don't you, Cody, start? I already picked on you. I'll get you to start.
Honestly, I wasn't paying enough attention. I thought of an idea for something to fix in this scene, and I missed what we're discussing.
We're discussing mailing lists. Like when you get people on your mailing list, when you get people on the list, Do you keep them there forever?
I don't really know much about copywriting. I mostly just here's a fly on the wall, just
All right.
because
Go
I'm,
back
I'm
to
writing fiction copy.
I have you
I'll
right.
take a shot, Agnieszka.
Tell me that, Nelson.
I'm guessing you would ping them every so often, maybe weekly to monthly, to share educational information and then present an occasional offer that they might be interested to take me up on.
So when do you delete them?
Never. You can adjust the frequency that you contact someone. If they've never responded, perhaps you slowly back them off to bi-monthly or quarterly or yearly or something like that. But I don't know that I would ever discard an email address.
Okay, anybody else? Does anybody here know a time, other than Kara, a time that you would delete a contact from your mailing list?
Well, legally, if they unsubscribe. Right?
Yeah, but that's that's self-managed one. I'm talking where the owner actually goes and X's them.
I would say a non-conversion rate. So I would, you know, if they never opened or you're not getting anywhere with them, Nelson, I appreciate what you just said, because email addresses are like gold. But if you're not making progress with that particular audience, you either have to alter your message or alter your offer, but maybe it's just like, oh God, please stop sending me stuff. And then it's harder for the person, I think, to manage. I think if they lat, I want to hear from you once a week, you know, at the beginning of the relationship, not like now I got to go search for it. But I'm sorry, I just tangent there.
Hi, Van.
Hey,
Nice to
Anishka. Thank you for this. I've got a question when you're done.
Well, I want to deliver and created this thing.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what email deliverability is, or what your company reputation, email reputation is? So the email reputation is like, you have basically like a container online where every email provider can add like, say, black dots or white dots to it, right? So if you have lots of white dots and only a few black dots, you have a good email reputation. And if you have a lot of black dots and only a few white dots, this is symbolic, but you know what I mean, then your email reputation is bad. So what happens when your email reputation is bad? When your email reputation is bad, your messages don't just end up in the unfocused or other inbox, they end up in spam. And if your email, like if the black dots, if the container that's your reputation, if the black dots are like 90% of the container, your emails might not go anywhere. They may just go and disappear before they get to any junk mail folder. Like not even. Like I've seen situations where emails wouldn't even get through, like wouldn't accept the emails at all. So they would never even make it into your junk mail folder. So when does that happen? How would you get your reputation so bad, right? Spamming is one thing, but how do they know that you're a spammer? There's certain things that they count when they think you're a spammer. So first of all, it's spam trigger words in the email. Most people know that. That's actually a very small ball. It doesn't take up very much space, but it is somewhat important, spam trigger words. The second thing is how many emails, how many photos you put in an email. As a beginner, you need to put only a few photos. As your reputation grows, as you become more known and your reputation is really solid, then you can start adding more photos in your emails, like Walmart or Michael's craft store, where they have full emails, photos every time I say it. Photos in the email. That's when they have a really good reputation. But when you're not sure, so the other thing that really weighs heavily, which is settings that are in the back end of your website. Is it breaking me up? Give me the green phone, please. I got an internet problem. I'll just turn this on. But it's still okay, yeah? Okay. So the other place is the DKIM settings in the back end of your website. And those settings authenticate the mailer that you're mailing stuff out of and your website. So basically the email system that you're set up with, which is maybe MailChimp or ActiveCampaign or Infusionsoft or one of those, Zoho, and your website are connected. And there's a piece of code that connects the two in order to authenticate that, yes, this person legitimately from this website is emailing on behalf of this website. But then there's this other thing about emails. So Google, I found out, if you email somebody who hasn't opened their email box in 90 days, say I have a junk email box and I haven't opened it in 90 days, any email that comes into that mailbox gets a black dot every single time. So say you email me once a week and I don't open my emails, I have not logged into that mailbox since 2019, but you keep emailing me. Every time you email me, you get a black dot in your reputation. You're considered a spammer because you continue to email somebody who's not logged into their email for 90 days or longer. So basically, the time that you can keep contacts, ideally, the time that you want to keep contacts on your mailing list and not delete them is 90 days. If in that 90 days, they don't open your emails, they don't respond in some way, they don't click, it's so hard for an owner because we want everybody. It's gold, right? But here I'm telling you, if these people haven't engaged in 90 days, do your best. Send them an engagement campaign. Try as hard as you might to get them to respond somehow. Give them gifts, whatever you have to. But if they're still not responding, cut them. Because it's actually causing you future problems. And imagine how many emails, right, that you're sending for everyone that doesn't land. Yes, Ness.
That's really interesting. I didn't know that existed. Is that fairly recent or has that been going on for a good long while?
It's been going on for a couple years, I think. It's getting more and more strict. The reason I know about it is because I was working with a Google expert on an Infusionsoft account that got blacklisted by Yahoo and Google. And I've actually worked with 3 or 4 different clients that gotten blacklisted, and we had to hire different experts in deliverability. So I know a lot about this because of these clients, right? But it is sort of like the best kept secret. Google does not want you to know the rules around it. And the fact that I know this 90-day rule is really unusual because I only found out because I was working with somebody who used to work at Google and now they were working for me as an expert, whatever, hired by the client. The DKIM thing is really important, but you know what? There's this thing called MX. Huh? Go ahead, Leslie. I'll tell you about it. I won't forget. Go ahead.
I'm curious, is Google the only one doing this? Or are there other companies and organizations also keeping a reputation system and Google is just the most dominant or the most used at this point?
I think Google's the one who sets the standard. They up the standard and they set the standard and then everybody else kind of follows suit. And I use the word Google as a sort of generalizer because in reality, it's all the different companies, but it's hard to say Google, Yahoo, you know, there's a lot of them. But Google does set the standard. So everybody maybe will not have the same algorithm, but will have something similar. And they also don't want you to know, they don't want us to know, right? The different rules. So we have to sort of find out by accident or get a rumor or something and then add it to our collection of knowledge.
So
But
maybe
I
it's
was going to say,
specifically, it's all the big tech companies working together as a cartel.
Well, yeah, essentially. And they're scared of these cartels here that give you good service. I mean, seriously. Anyway, I'm talking about local in Mexico because I'm located in Mexico. So there is this online tool called MX Toolbox. It does spam a lot, but at the same time, if you type in any website, it'll give you the DKIM settings and whether they're set properly or not. it won't give you the information whether they're connected to the right sender. Like say they switch from MailChimp to ActiveCampaign, they may still be getting a black mark if they didn't change it. But if their DKIM is not in place at all, it'll show up on this MX Toolbox tool. And it's super easy to use. Kara and I, we're both experts in collecting free tools online to make our work easier.
Yes, indeed.
So MX Toolbox is very important, but at the same time, all the other considerations, right? Not too many pictures, not too many spam trigger words. You can't have too many capital letters. Like you could have maybe capital letters in one word, but not the whole sentence in capitals, because that's considered spam. You know, using different colors of fonts is considered spam. Too much red is considered spam. Jesus, what else? What else, Kara? What am I forgetting? Oh, and the from email and the thing has to match, of course, and the website has to match. Oh, not too many links. If there's too many links to too many different places, it's considered iffy.
And there's
Which
things
is interesting.
like capitalization and stuff, right? Like all caps and subject lines and things like that too.
Yeah, I did mention that.
What about the special words like buy now and stuff?
Spam trigger words, yeah. There are a couple new, that tool, I lost that tool. Hey, Tara, I have it to go have a meeting with them to see if they can give me back the tool and I can become a rep for them, that reply.io, because that was the best email analyzing tool I've ever had, but it's expensive. But I found some other ones that will analyze the email and I can give you guys the links. I should give you guys the links right now. I have it in this folder called work. This one. I just want to see which one was the good one. It was really nice when I had the reply.io. That's what it is, reply.io tool. But it's like $40 or $50 a month. Okay, so I have three that I'll put them in chat here. I have three spam trigger word checker tools that I found useful. But so when I write an email, I run it through Grammarly, of course. I run it through Hemingway. I run it through a spam trigger checker. All of those things.
Nice. Very valuable tools
And
for
I
anyone
probably do two or
a little bit regularly.
yeah. This last one. Weird. So I kind of
This sounds like
looking
kind of-
into it sometimes too. I'm still read a part of the word and say, oh, it's the spam word, but it's see that.
This sounds like information that could be developed into a presentation, perhaps, and recorded and become a digital asset for you.
Or for Kara, for her course.
Yeah. A lead magnet for the copywriting course.
Yeah, maybe you should take over the copywriting clinic, Nelson.
Arr,
Have you thought about becoming a pirate?
matey. I have been collecting pirate chain. Not quite the same thing.
I think even though Kara and I are experts, we're all like I'm making a whole other course now, or two courses on body language and face reading and all that. I was actually asked to make the course in Polish. And Kara is developing what are you developing? Her coaching new career.
Mhm.
We're just living an adventurous lifestyle out here. on the leading edge.
See, Van raised his hand. We have.
Hey, hey, Agnisha and Kara. Thank you for this. This is fascinating, especially for a newbie. I was just wanting to ask a very basic question, and essentially, what is copywriting? I mean, I have my own idea of it, but I thought I'd better make sure I understand it.
Sure. And by the way, Agnieszka, I turned my video off because I keep getting this thing that says my bandwidth is low. So I'm just trying to reserve internet power. I don't know what's going on with today. But so, you know, copywriting is at its essence, it's the writing of copy. It's all of, you know, all that marketing language that you see on websites and emails and advertisements, all of that is copy. And so we as marketers, as copywriters, we are the ones writing that copy. And so that also involves doing a lot of audience research to know the type of people that you're trying to connect with, you know, getting your brand voice out there. There's a lot of different components to it. And I do have a course actually that I could definitely, I suppose a lot of newbies in here don't know that yet. So I could definitely drop a link to that, and, you know, autonomy students get a nice hefty discount on that. So I'll drop that link into our chat as well. But in, you know, that's it in a nutshell. There's definitely a lot more to it, but at its basic essence, that's copywriting.
Thank you.
Ah, thank you. Grab that.
Yeah, the course was a lot of fun, and these labs essentially are supposed to be the support for the course. But that doesn't mean that you can't be here because you haven't taken the course. We like everybody, so it's all good. And if you have any writing questions, or if you've written something and you want to see if it stinks or not, you can show it to us during these labs, and then we'll give you feedback, or the group will give you feedback too. Yay. We're so proud of Tara making a course.
And I'm still trying to grow it a little bit more. There's still some more lessons that I really want to add, but yeah, it's there. It's up. In my mind, it'll never be complete. So
That's true. But that's a really good, it's really important to learn copywriting, because through copywriting, you can learn, like once you learn copywriting, it's basically the key to the world, because then that influences the way you speak to others, that influences the way you interact with others, that influences the way you write emails, the way you write contracts, proposals, you know, everything is as part of it. Everything changes once you master these basic business skills. And my life certainly changed when I came to autonomy, and Kara's life changed.
oh, huge. Yes. Everyone's
She's
going to hear all about
waitress.
that tonight.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that tonight.
I can certainly see the value in having the skill, but doesn't having a product or an offering come first?
No, because you're in unlimited you have unlimited generative potential. So all you learn here is the skills, how to write about whatever, widgets, or it doesn't matter what, vampire novels, who cares? Right? But the skills are transferable to every single situation, like whether you want to pick up a girl in a bar, or whether you want to create a poem, or whether you want to contact a customer or get a job or talk somebody into giving you a cool contract. The same basic rules apply to every one of those things.
Okay, because
It's
I
just
heard
a
you guys
matter of-
speaking about email lists, and I don't have any of that.
Not yet, but for every project that well, I mean, and you may not choose to either, right? Some people choose to only be a farmer and never to put an email, right? But the farmers that have an email list sell more eggs, right? Because every time there's eggs ready, they send a quick email, hey guys, eggs ready for pickup on Thursday at 9 a.m. and boom, people show up, right?
Yeah, which is a
So
product.
it's just support, like the email is just a support, just like a, a sign on your truck would be a support, or anything would be a support to your business. It's one of the tools in the toolbox. But email is just this, it's is basically a throat chakra, like an expression, a way of speaking, right? So in the copywriting, the basic copywriting is how to speak depending on the situation. And then you can apply it to email or to talking or to writing a novel or to every other aspect.
Yeah. So
Thank
like
you for being here.
yeah, and in copywriting at its essence is, it's about building trust with an audience. You can't, it's just the same concept as like, you're not going to ask someone to marry you on the first date. Similarly, you're not going to like push for a sale like on that first touch with a new customer. You got to nurture the relationship, got to provide value. There's so much buyer hesitation, and for good reason, because there's a lot of scams out there, and people are just trying to protect themselves and not get swept up by every shiny new thing that comes their way. So it's about building trust and nurturing a relationship so that there's little to no doubt in their mind once they're ready that like this is what they want to get. And also to your point, Van, about saying well, I don't have a product. Well, there's also copywriting in itself is a profession. So, learning the skills of copywriting that you can help somebody else that does have a product or help, get on some kind of a marketing team or something. And it's a very valuable and can be a very lucrative service and skill to learn.
Yeah, that's what I'm interested in.
But sometimes, like I just sold I just sold a bunch of articles for $28 an article. They're supposed to be tiny, but that's still selling my skills really, really cheap.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to do it because it was about art. And I really thought it would be so like, I was doing all this crypto investment bullshit. And then this guy comes and he wants me to write articles about art. And so I sold it cheaply because I wanted the flow of art through my heart. Now I'm thinking about giving him an offer so I can become his like worker forever. I don't know. Maybe I don't want to work for the financial guys anymore.
Yeah.
I'm rethinking my life. But it was an easy $700. He wanted to spend $150. I upped him to $700 by selling him cheap articles. Now I'm having a huge amount of fun researching the newest and most fun watercolor artists of the world. I'm like, let's see who's most famous in Finland. Doing something that makes you grit your teeth and feel uncomfortable and stuff, and even maybe making $200 an hour or whatever, but for something that's like not fun.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. I literally did the Finland thing this morning. Like, let's see what I can write about Finland. Oh, what about Greenland? Maybe they have a famous artist in Greenland. I could write an art. I've only written 10 of the 25 articles. I still have a lot of fun play with.
Antarctica should be interesting.
There's no famous artists in Antarctica. Not watercolor anyway. There's no way. Maybe oil. I don't know. I don't think it would be a good Antarctica medium watercolor. So should we look at Nelson? Do you guys have any other questions about email deliverability, deleting clients, nurturing clients? Because you have to nurture them to make sure that they stay engaged, right? So because essentially you don't know if the person is ignoring you or their email, right? But it's only if they're ignoring their email that it's dangerous to email them.
Agnieszka, you mentioned that this policy by the big tech companies is not really publicized. So is it only, I'm assuming it's the technicians that write the stuff in the code and then it filters through word of mouth, I guess, through interacting with experts. Is that?
It's like one of those wars where like the hackers find the things and then they block the holes and then they find the holes and then they block the holes, right? But some holes cannot be blocked. They're already taken half the vocabulary, right? There's no way you can write email without any, or it's very difficult to write an email without any spam trigger words, just because they're stupid words are spam trigger words. So common words. I'm just gonna look at my last email that I wrote to see what.
Still there, Agnieszka?
So what's the link to that on like a live website?
We're both having internet issues today. Nelson, I didn't see the link to the actual website in the email. Would you mind just dropping it into the Zoom chat?
Sure, it's just polycoacheliza.com, but I'll put it in the chat as well.
Thank you. And I'm hoping that this works as far as my internet bandwidth. If it gets too glitchy, maybe Agnieszka, maybe I'll have you share instead.
I just switched to the better internet, so I should be better now.
Mine has been really bad so far on this call. It's been really glitchy. All right. Okay, so relationship coach for polyamorous folks. So I wanted to look at the website first, and then we can go over and look at the lead magnet. Because this way we can get a better idea of what it is that she's offering, the kind of language that she's using, and it'll just help set us up better to look at her lead magnet. What kind of relationships do you crave? Helping you to have there seems to be a disconnect between, so there's this question, but then it goes like unanswered. What kind of relationships do you crave? Helping you to have the best relationships of your life. I just see a little bit of a disconnect between these two things.
Yeah, it should be something like confirms the top, like you can have it all or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that really speaks to a polyamorous person. What kind of relationships do you crave right at the beginning? Because the answer is not polyamorous. Like there's many answers to this question. And what she's wanting the people to answer is a polyamorous relationship, right? So it should be a question that, right? Or no, Nelson?
Not necessarily. She focuses on or has a focus on polyamorous relationships, but she's certainly willing to coach anyone in pretty much any kind of relationship. So I think it's kind of a rhetorical question of we all want to have great relationships and rewarding relationships. So that's the way I took that first question as more of a rhetorical thing, because we all want great relationships, and a coach can help us make our relationships great.
I love how Tara and I have the same expression on our faces. Is it time to talk about target marketing?
Yes, very much time to talk about target marketing. She's
Yes.
she's the poly coach. She needs to embrace that. Because when we start talking like, all right, we want to help everybody and we want to speak to everybody, we end up speaking to no one. So she should lean into that. Like, and there's plenty of a market out there for that. And especially like, and I have polyamorous friends, and I know navigating those relationships can be really tricky. So, I mean, there's like, this is her niche. So she needs to really like lean into that and speak directly to them. And so even if, you know, you're going to lead with,
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. And so, and I understand that you read this as like a rhetorical question. I didn't read it like that when I first read it. I read it as a question, and then I expected to have something to connect to that question, like, you know, I mean, an answer, but something that connects to this big headline. You know, what kind of relationships do you crave? I don't know. I'm just feeling a disconnect between the two things, even if it's like, instead of like taking it out of a question form and it's like, you know, nurture the relationships that you crave or something, you know, but there's so many different ways that you
I
can
have
go.
a crazy analogy.
Sure.
I have a crazy Agnieszka analogy.
Do it.
So say you're going to a restaurant, right? And normally when you go to the restaurant, you arrive at the gate. Let's say it's like, you know, the house is a little further back and there would be a waiter there and saying, okay, come on in, sir. Come on in, sir. But this way she's saying, you want to eat here? You want to go over there? Right? Because it's not actually giving me a foregone conclusion of, yes, I want to eat at this restaurant. Yes, this is the kind of food I'm craving, right? You're craving Chinese or you're craving Thai, right? Well, we only have Chinese here. You know what I mean? And I know that she could probably help anybody. And if anybody like meets her or finds what she says really, really important, they're going to come to her whether they're into poly or not. But if she really wants to help the people who are in polyamorous relationships, what I also know is, not from experience, but I also know is difficult. This is definitely a area where most coaches would suck. Most psychologists would probably not help you very much. This is something that's needed, necessary, and it should be front and center and not somehow hidden. Like, oh, I can help anybody, but I really, really like to help poly people. No. Are you poly? No, go away. Oh, you really want to stay? Okay, fine, I'll help you.
This is probably a good point to acknowledge that when she watches this recording later and she hears some of my answers to the questions, she'll probably be like mentally whacking me in the back of the head, like, that's not what I meant.
Probably.
He doesn't speak for me.
Eliza, when you hear this, know that
We
we
know
do
that.
that we're
You're a
speaking
guy.
to you
You
as you're
could-
not here. We know this. And you know, and she could really benefit from doing some audience research. And you know, no matter what, so she might know her audience, like she might know. I mean, I have know nothing about Eliza. Maybe she's even in polyamorous relationships and has all this experience, so she gets it. That's wonderful. But what audience research can really help with is messaging, and getting the like exact kind of vernacular that that people in her target market are using, and bring that into her headlines. Like, you know, bring that research and bring that messaging into her headline so that it's going to speak directly to those people. Like even this, it's so watered down, you know, helping you to have the best relationships of your life. It's very watered down and vague to me. I just feel like it could be so much more pointed and specific so that when those people land on this website, they know exactly that she gets it and she's speaking directly to them.
Do you have an example or two of the kind of research you're referring to, audience research? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, there's different forms that it can take. I mean, she could, honestly, one of the most direct ways would be to conduct a survey and put a survey out to the people that she knows and, you know, like identify, okay, what kind of information are you wanting to know? And then figure out the right questions to ask in order to get that information. And that way you're getting a direct line to your target market. And you know, the other form of audience research that I teach in my course is based off of Sabri Subi's method in his book, Sell Like Crazy. And that involves going and mining discussion forums, comment threads. You can go to like YouTube videos on polyamory and look down through the comment section and just start capturing what people are talking about, the kind of language that they're using, looking out for patterns. This is where going to things like Reddit and Quora and stuff and just mining those discussion threads, you'll get tons and tons of gold. And it's just finding, you know, you're looking for a few things. You're looking for patterns, the kinds of anxieties and challenges and dreams, these things that come up over and over again, so that you know, okay, this is a common theme. I have to make sure that I address this in my marketing. And then you're also looking for interesting ways of saying things. Especially in copywriting today and in marketing, there's so much competition, and there's so, like, we're in a huge crowded room and everyone's trying to shout on top of one another. And so you do have to find ways to try and stand out. And so the more that you can speak back to people in their own language, the better you're going to have to like cut through the noise and really be able to speak directly to them. So that's audience research in a nutshell. And so what you would do is you'd have, like I have a spreadsheet, different spreadsheets where I have categories. In fact, oh hell, let me just, let me find one and pull one up right now. I'm sure I can do this. Let's see here. Audience research. Let's look at a template. Okay. So here is a basic template. And you have the different themes on the left-hand side. So we'll start there. And this is categorizing into hopes and dreams, the positive things that come up when you're mining these different discussion threads, the common pains and fears that come up, the anxieties, barriers and uncertainties, the things that are the roadblocks keeping people from getting a coach or, getting these different things. And then, there's a space for little unexpected things that come up, and there's even a spot for terminology and a different glossary. Then you can have different audience categories. And so in her case, maybe it's somebody, so newbie could be something like the person that's thought about wanting to start a polyamorous relationship, or, is curious about it, but, hasn't gotten there yet. And I mean, various stages up to, someone that's been practicing, that's been in polyamorous relationships for, years or months or whatever it is, but you can get an idea of how you can organize your findings. And then you can have, the source is like, I like to link back directly to that Reddit thread or that YouTube video, wherever it was that I found the comment, have the links here so that I can reference it when I need to. And you are literally copy and pasting the exact words that you're finding in those comment threads or discussions. And that way, like, again, you're speaking directly back to people in their own language. And so, when this gets filled up, this becomes like a really powerful resource to come back to anytime you're putting out a post, you're putting out an email or an advertisement or anything. You have this like trove of messaging ideas to pull from.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you, Kara. That's
Yeah.
it sounds like a bunch of work and time, but once you've invested that and collected that, I can see how valuable that could be on an ongoing basis moving forward.
Absolutely. Worth every second. I mean, it does. It can take anywhere from, an hour or two up to 10 hours. I mean, it really depends. It depends on the industry. It depends on, like how vast your offer is. Like there's a lot of different components that are going to determine like how much research that you need. Like I have a client that I had for a simple product, thinking of a good example here, of like chocolate. We had one that was like fancy chocolates, and that only took, a couple hours of research, and we're pretty good. Whereas now we have like this other client, Personal Media Inc., who's developing this brand new, like big, it's not social media, it's personal media, but this brand new platform, and they're going to have like beta groups, and we're trying to target investors, and there's lots of different factors involved. So that took many, many more hours of research and researching into different audience categories and like who we're talking to. And so it just really depends. And for someone like her, who's I'm imagining is a solopreneur, maybe it only is going to take a few hours for her to like be able to really get it, to look and like, because she's already got a pretty good understanding of her audience, but this is going to like really take it to another level. So she spends just a few hours doing this kind of research. Oh, she's going to come up with like some really amazing copy, I think.
Kara, I just wanted to add that, this is one of these areas where if you have a particular interest in a particular area, this is a great way to kind of establish your copywriting ability. Is if you know that particular area well, then you can just kind of look at all the clientele that might service that particular area. So like if you're doing that research, if you know the lingo of the hobby or interest that you have, that's 90% of the battle as far as copywriting.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Being able to like, understand the terminology and just the language that people use. And, and there's also a caveat to that of making sure to be careful of using too many industry terms in your marketing. So there's like a flip side to it, right? And this is between, if I'm as a copywriter, if I'm writing a promotion to other copywriters or other marketers, my language is going to look a lot different than if I'm putting something out to just like a brand new small business owner or just like an average person. Like there's a lot of industry terms that I'm not going to use because I'm just going to confuse them, and they don't need to get a whole, glossary just to understand what we're trying to offer them, right? Yeah. Keep looking.
And Cara, this is an example of something that you teach in your course?
Yes.
That technique?
Yep.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. And the course has 2 levels. So there's 2 different packages, and the basic package is just, you get access, immediate access to all the videos. There's practice assignments in there that you can do on your own. It's just all, self-managed. Then the second package is actually, you can turn in practice assignments to me, and I'll give you feedback on the stuff that you turn in. So, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Right, so we got quote here. I'm going to look over that and go past that. Oh, it's polyamorous coaching right for you. I kind of like this language. New to non-monogamy, in a monogamous relationship, and you desire polyamory or ethical non-monogamy. Those are some big words in there. I can help you and your partner design your relationship and help you open up with less chance of blowing it up. That's nice. I like this. I like this language. I guess what I'm curious about is she only?
What if that was at the top?
Right?
What if that was the top? Poly coach Eliza, is polyamory coaching right for you? New to non-monogamy, struggling with an open relationship? That should be the top. This is perfect.
Yeah, this is good content. And she's speaking to the various like positions or, experiences people might be coming here from. So some who's already in a monogamous relationship, they want to open things up. Struggling with an open relationship, and relationship transition. So this is great. She's really speaking a lot to the various members of her target audience. So you're in an open relationship. Not everyone's fully on board or adjusting well. Back to you're happy. All relationships have transitions and they can be difficult. Normal to ask for help when opening up, dealing with jealousy and other uncomfortable emotions, and consciously uncoupling. I can help. All right. So just kind of seeing what's all on here.
Eliza, I like it.
I do too. And I was going to say the one thing I think that's missing, I know you have an About Me page over here, which we'll probably look at also here in a minute, but having something on your homepage, a little glimpse of you, like why are you in the position to help these people? What gives you the authority, for lack of a better word, the experience and skills that you have, bring you into this homepage? Because especially as a coach, like people are hiring your personality as much as they are, hiring what you're offering them. So it is, I think, really important to bring you into this page a bit more.
And credibility as well.
Definitely.
So
Yeah.
this image here, I'm not sure if it's the right image unless she's in the polyamorous coaching for elderly, which is a target market in and of itself, and it's totally valid. But
In the same dot.
I mean, when she describes the different people, this could be one of the images with other younger people images, but it kind of suggests that she likes to work with 65 plus.
A little bit.
You're the front and all.
Yeah, I don't know that that's her target specifically. I do know that it's a growing segment of polyamorous community is folks in their older years.
I don't know why that makes me really happy. Just say it. Very interesting. Right. And then just got some blog posts. That's great. So, I mean, like, yeah, overall, I think like, especially this spot down, she's got some really strong copy. Well done. This could definitely use more incentive you know, all right, want more, subscribe to my newsletter. Like, oh, and this is, I suppose, enters into our next part of this, which is looking at potential lead magnet. I just realized I'm about to answer my own question here of needing to come up with.
I was just saying, Kara, that no one wants to subscribe to anything ever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's a good synonym or substitute for that?
You have to give them something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you're saying. You're saying don't directly ask them to subscribe to the newsletter. Just put the lead magnet right in that spot.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, they already have a lead magnet. They have the half-hour kind of like free trial call.
But that's not really a lead magnet. That requires me to phone somebody, talk to somebody, expose myself. It's very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's the object of the lead magnet, is to get them to click the button that says schedule a chat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's also something that's genuinely useful to them for their problem, you know, like a mind map, or, right? Something that they already want, that they don't know that they want. And then they show up in this page, and then you're like, hey, you know what? If you're having these issues, this might help. Here it is for free. It's just a gift from me to you. Just because you're interested in polyamorous challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a little gift.
Mm-hmm.
And oh yeah, you have to give me your email address for the gift, but and obviously you're going to be subscribed, but that's not, we're not going to talk about it, right? We're just going to give them the mind map or the plus minus comparison or whatever Eliza comes up with. Checklists and things like that are really good because people get to interact with your material on like a more personal basis.
Yeah. So since we're talking about lead magnet, I'm going to pop over to the next document, and we're probably going to have a lot to talk about with this one because I did take a glance at it.
Hang on. I have one more thing to say, that the old people, they could be another whole line. Are you 50 or are you 55 plus? Polyamorous relationships are on the grow or are growing in this group.
Yes.
I am especially interested in talking to you because whatever, give them a reason, come up with a reason.
Yes.
I'm doing a deep study on polyamorous relationships from 50 people, 55 plus, or something like that.
Absolutely. And, you know, and you were saying earlier, Nelson, about she was saying, okay, you know, she could help anybody. Look at how many levels of her audience that she has. This is fantastic. She has so many people that she can speak to still within the realm of polyamorous relationships. Like this is wonderful. She's got, you know, like if she were to, you know, fill out her Halo spreadsheet, boom, she's got her categories up there at the top, like right here, right in front. And then she could just do even more, again, spend like a few hours just doing some research into those different audiences to just come up with even more messaging ideas, patterns, see what kind of extra challenges that they're coming up with. That, you know, we can only think of so much on our own. No matter how much we know our audience, there's still going to be lots of things that we're going to miss because we're only one person, you know? And so other people in the same audiences have different challenges and different things. And so it's just trying to, going out and doing the work so that you can find the gaps and find the messaging ideas.
I have one more thing to say about this website before we move on to the next screen. Notice how good her writing is, guys. Do you know why her writing, from the veterans of the Copywriting Clinic? Do you know why this page has such good writing and most of the other pages we look at suck? Because this lady's a psychologist. She already knows what we need to know, how we need to. She's taking us down the garden path. She doesn't need our training in her writing. She just needs the marketing positioning thing. But every one of these paragraphs, I don't know if I could make much better. Kara?
No, they're great.
Right. Even if I were to struggle, I might delete a word or two, but in reality, I probably would end up with exactly that.
Yeah, well done.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you.
All right.
She just wants to be everything to everybody, but that's just not right.
Right. and this is like, she's gotten nice and specific in all these. And this is why, like, this is very good copywriting, because it's specific, speaking directly to them and to their challenges and what they're wanting and the position that they're coming here from. So that's why this is very good copywriting. And she's speaking directly to them also. For like newbies on the call, there's like this nice, she's speaking to you, so that reader, they like do feel like she's speaking directly to them.
And talking about the problem front and center, and ending with, yeah, I can get you back to happy. I can help. Like those are like the perfect endings.
Yeah. Well done. Well done.
I would just make those old people another paragraph and say, are you 55 plus? And do a little paragraph of challenges of 55 plus polyamory, like one more line.
And then she's just opened up, a fourth
And then
audience category.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's a good one. And
Mhm.
those people have money too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a good one.
And time.
When
Because-
when thinking about target audience, money and time are good ones.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe you should bring that up a little bit now that we say about it, that about it.
Okay, so I'm not going to have as much praise on this one as critiques for various reasons. So obviously, I think the most obvious thing that everybody can identify is this is very text heavy. This is so much. Oh my gosh, this is so much.
You know what this is? She was trying to be a professional. She took her good writing and she put a stick up its bum.
Yeah, like an academic type of paper.
So what I love is that she is providing value. That like, these are some very, I haven't read through this in detail, but I can just see looking at this, that like, there's some genuine tips on like how to really, how to do this, 13 steps to opening your relationship. So she's really providing value, and it's not, I actually had this recently. I was providing feedback on a lead magnet, and every single of the numbered points ended with a pushy sell, ended with like, oh, it was basically like, is this your problem? And then the solution is hire me, rather than just providing some value without asking for anything in return. I mean, it's all soft selling. Like any of the stuff that we're putting out for free, like this is still ultimately trying to like lead a person to, hopefully along their buyer journey. And if it's right for them to, get your service, that's always happening on the back end. But, with a lead magnet, this is, it is a free gift. The only thing you're asking for in return is an email address. And so we're not trying to hard sell. We're not trying to, the only solution is just to hire me. That's it. That's all you get. So she's actually trying to provide value in here, but I think she really needs to cut it down, ironically. And I don't want to say that there's too much value, but one thing, a good practice with lead magnets is just a little bit more bite size. I would take it down from 13 steps to, I don't know, 5, 6, like.
But hang on. What if she made this into a checklist with 13 steps, but made these open-ended questions and made the people write their answers in a little box instead of her writing the answer? And then, so 13 questions to opening your relationship, and then ask each question, give a little box. And then once you get these 13 questions, if you still have questions, if you're still not clear on some things, give me a call.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same, but not the same.
I like that.
And it's enough to cut anything out then. And it's not feeding information, it's getting information, right? If she gives you like a questionnaire with questions, like, and then say, maybe even explain, this is not an electronic survey. I don't want your answers. I want you to really deliberate and think about these answers, because this is really key to keeping your relationship happy and successful. Now take the time, make sure you have no distractions, sit down and take the time to dedicate the time to these questions, because these are the key questions to keeping you happy. And then she goes through the questions, and at the end, do you have any questions? Right? So you're forcing the person, or you're putting the idea in their head to sit down and shut off all the distractions, focus on your material, spend some time with your material, right? By then they're already invested in your offer, right? Then at the end, very softly saying, hey, is there anything I can do for you? I'm here for you. You know, this person probably just after writing these answers probably cried and laughed and cried. And then she's there like a warm hug, right?
I like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of like, let's continue the conversation. Call me, you know, and here's my number. I love that, Agnieszka. That's, and also from a data mining perspective, you're getting to really know your client. This is actually like almost like an intake form for her coaching.
Well, in
So
my way,
there's lots to learn there. Nice.
Like she wouldn't see the answers. Or she could say, if you want to share the answers, you could, like given open-ended, like email me the answers if you want to, because I'd like to know. I'm your friend. I'm here for you. Let's open this conversation.
Yeah, JL, I was thinking the same thing as Agnieszka was describing that concept, that it was sounding more and more like an intake form, which I know Eliza does have one of those. I don't have access to it right now to share it here. But yeah, I think what Agnieszka is describing is slightly different in that her idea would be someone just answering the questions for their own benefit, or maybe with their partners in a discussion format. And then if they choose to engage Eliza as a coach, then they could share some of their responses.
Yeah, it's done a lot of the legwork and helped them, do some of this internal thinking before they actually come and talk with her.
I have an even better idea. What if these questions were for the individual to sit and by themselves and answer for themselves? And what if she had another set of questions for the partners, but that comes with like a coaching session that they can sign up for if they want to. And then they get the second partner questions, but they only can get them if they meet with her.
That's an interesting enticement and a way actually maybe to double her clientele. I like it.
Because then they're only committing to one coaching session, right? Like they only need to get this one coaching session, and they get these materials for their partner work. But we know that one coaching session is not going to be enough, right? But it's just going to open the doors to buying more coaching sessions. But if they really like the questions for the individual, they're going to want to get the second set of questions for the partners. But those are different questions, and you don't get them unless you sign up for this, some whatever.
Also an effective way for her to communicate her value, why you would want a continuing session with her. It's not, like you said, Agnieszka, it's not one and done. It's usually multiple sessions. So yeah, that I like.
It's basically like a sales call that you pay for. Like they're going to get their questions and they're going to get some help, of course, and it's going to be an hour of Eliza's time, but at the same time, she gets to sell them on a series. And so she gets to ask all the questions right there in person, find out why they need the coaching sessions, and then feed it back to them. But she knows how to do that, obviously. As long as she stays out of being professional, she cannot allow herself to be professional, be a friend, be a like a doula, more for a relationship. Bring the relationship to birthing, but not be a professional.
A confidant.
Yeah. Like somebody who nurtures it, who helps with the tough spots.
So Eliza, if you were to make this into a checklist, or even keeping it as like a step-by-step, You know, I'm not going to go into like each and every line of copy, but just some general tips in here would be formatting it for skimmers. You always want to, especially if you're having like steps 1, 2, and 3, like even this, like, so start with you, bold. You know, just as simple as that for some formatting stuff. And I mean, obviously it'd be good to like get some, you know, have this a little bit more designed, get a little bit, just, yeah, a little bit more of a design. I know it was delivered to me in a PDF, but it was still just text. So I wanted to be able to edit text as we go. But so that is their skimming, or say this is a checklist that they put up, and then, you know, they have read through it all, but they need a quick glance at it. Like you can see, you know, start with you, and then consider your partner, and just these different things, so they can like really see at a glance what each step is. Agnieszka, you're muted. Okay.
Yeah, I just realized that. For this one, I have a comment for number 3. I would not use the words, do you have a healthy, strong relationship with your partner? Because it's a tricky, psychologically tricky thing to answer. I would say, would you describe your relationship as a healthy one? And which is a different question, but I would also separate it into its own question. But instead of asking, do you have a healthy, strong relationship, I would ask all the other questions, like, have you cheated? Do you, all that.
And so it's like, if we go with the theme of, you know, trying to like bold what each step is, maybe number 3 is like gauge your relationship. And then it asks all these questions.
Yeah, but still I would stay away from, do you have a healthy, strong relationship with your partner? It's just like a tricky question.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And having specific action steps for all of these, like even if it's just something, you know, where if you design this to have space for them to write it out, like having an action step associated with all of these, of like, have this conversation now, or write about this now, or, you know, whatever the action is associated with these, especially when they're step-by-step things. Just a small action would be good.
And to make it clear at the top, to take time out for yourself, close the door, you know, be uninterrupted and all that.
Yeah.
You deserve this time, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of these like ifs. So if decided they're ready to discuss opening up to your partner, find the best time to do so. And so I guess as far as a step-by-step, the if ones kind of throw me off.
Well, if we change it all to questions that they get answered, then this will all change anyway.
That's true. That's true.
Kara, I like the concept of brevity and using the bolded highlight words to really draw attention for the skimmers, but also to get more to the core message of why this is important for me now. Mm-hmm. How many normally would be like on a page? 10 is too many. Like, I don't, you know, 1 to 10, 1 to 5, like 5. Could she break this up into multiple campaigns almost, and use different types of, you know, I mean, there's a lot of actually content here for her. But how many would be like the normal that you would put in like a lead magnet?
And, you know, and that is a tough question to answer, because again, it just depends. It depends on the industry, depends on your audience. Like we had Autonomy's lead magnet was 19 essential skills not taught in school. So I had 19 points. You know, typically when I'm creating, you know, just, you know, and so if I'm going broad overall, typically I would keep it less than 10. I would keep it a little bit more bite-sized, but it really just depends. And it depends on what you're creating, who you're talking to. Like, you know, if these are all essential steps, then heck yeah, keep all 13. But to your other point, yes, like if she was to make this resource a little bit smaller, she could use a lot of this content in follow-up emails. So we were talking about email marketing. So the lead magnet is just opening the door. Lead magnet is just to be able to, again, like provide value and get their email address so that you can continue to have that touch. You know, there's for new people on the call that haven't heard me say this yet, there's like a saying that in marketing, people need to come in contact with something like 7 different times before they're ready to take action. So part of email marketing is nurturing that relationship. So after they've gotten their welcome email that delivers their lead magnet, you can have a series of follow-up emails that all supporting what they're working on. So yeah, she could definitely like, if she decided to cut some content out of this, save it and use it in your follow-up emails. There's lots of different places where you can reuse anything she decides to take out of here, if she does.
Cara, that was a really interesting comparison with the Autonomy 19 Essential Skills. When that vision popped in my head, I could easily see this becoming a 13-page lead magnet where each of these points is on a single page. You have plenty of space for Agnieszka's box for people to jot down their responses, plenty of room for formatting and graphics and color, and that would make the whole thing look completely different.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you guys can download a free template from the internet, right? Like a professional looking presentation template that she likes, and then put each one on those pages, like whether it's a Word template, whatever software you have, right?
Nice.
Like I often download Photoshop templates and then I change them and change all the colors, make it look totally different, and use that for my clients.
Yeah, and Eliza, I do like there's a lot of possibilities with this. With what you've created here. And so it could be dialed down into a small checklist. It could be a 13-page resource with space for them to like really do the work. And I mean, it could be a fillable PDF where they can even do typing like right there on their computer, or they can go print it out and, fill it out by hand. So there's definitely lots of ways that you can play around with this. And what's really cool too, is you can start one and it's all testing. So then you just put it out into the world and you see what kind of response that you get back. And if it's not, you could try another format. So there's different, like everything in marketing too is testing, like, and if anybody that's aspiring to become like a freelancer or a copywriter or a marketer, one, rule of thumb to keep in mind of when you're working with a new client is do not guarantee results, because there's so many factors at play. There's, there's just too many unknown factors to be able to guarantee that someone's going to get results. But you can always guarantee that you're going to test and learn. You're going to continue to learn and see what works and what doesn't work and try and optimize and improve and stuff. That's the stuff that we can guarantee as marketers all day long. We're going to continue to learn and improve. Thoughts? Questions, concerns? Ideas, jokes?
We don't.
Agnieszka says no. Joke.
No, I think this would be cool if it was a question thing and like an exercise or a worksheet or whatever.
Yeah. This could even be a video series. I mean, there's so many things that you can do with something like this. And
each one of the points could be like 5 different emails.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even going back to the 19 skills resource as an example, I mean, we not only did we create the PDF, but then over time, we ended up having voiceover where Sonia Wills did like a whole voiceover of the resource and she read it out. And then we had a video where like Benny Wills and Sonia, they like read out and did video of all of these. So there's so many different ways that you can play around with this kind of content and these kinds of things. And it's just deciding what route feels right for you that you want to start with first, and then just seeing how it performs in the market.
Well, congratulations to Eliza, and thank you, Nelson, for bringing that forward. Everybody needs a trusted partner and somebody to help them navigate, and so she's taking another portion of our social infrastructure and helping, like Agnieszka said, be a doula, right? Bring forth this beautiful thing that can be tricky. And I would imagine definitely could use some guidance.
Mhm.
So yeah, cheers.
I did an open relationship once. Didn't work very well.
Schedule a chat. Poly Coach Liza.
It's a West Coast thing, right, Tara?
Ah. Yeah, there are more and more of them and all kinds of different pronouns.
Hey, so I have a question, just out of curiosity, strictly from a newbie type of standpoint. I don't, I'm no freelancer or anything like that, but let's say you were taking just this subject matter as a freelancer, and where would you accumulate the community in which to send your emails? How, as a freelancer approaching this subject, how would you accumulate the emails or the contacts with where to go with all this?
Very good question. Yeah, so say this resource gets like completely packaged and pretty and it's ready to get put out to the world. So the very first place that we would put it is right down here in this area on the website to offer something that then they just, oh yes, I want that resource and I'll give you my email address and subscribe to your list. Great. But how do we get people to the website? So that's where like outward marketing of things like social media advertising, speaking events, like I know for coaches, that's a really big one, is being able to like do networking events and speaking events so that you can like go out and meet people and get them interested in your brand. I mean, there's, again, like social media advertising, there's things like Google advertising, which are effective. I just hate Google. Yeah, there's various ways of getting it out into the world. And so, I mean, what'd you say, Agnieszka? I feel like these days and something like this, I think social media is probably one of the bigger ones to be able to attract attention, but I'm curious what else you think.
Well, social media, but also there's different social media, right? There are groups on Telegram and groups on Discord, and you can advertise or go there and hang out and make suggestions or provide resources. If you do have a video like that, you could do it, like say she records a video with these questions, right? She could be like, hey guys, you're having this issue. Well, check out this video. It may help you out, right? And the video has the link to a resource, and then you go to the resource, right? So that would be in any kind of forums or any kind of, like, she could even find, but not somebody who spams, like says, hey, anybody, but relevant answers. Somebody's like, hey, I just started a polyamorous relationship and I'm struggling with this and this and this. She can go, hey, I'm just wondering that this is totally doesn't cost anything. And if it helps you out, here's a video, or hey, here's my lead magnet. Don't call it lead magnet. Say, here's a tool that I use that really helped me. Right. So you can do that, but it needs to be very targeted, because any kind of spammy kind of activity is considered no good. But you can also go to groups or to different places where they talk about polyamory on Facebook or on Twitter, and again, make relevant comments.
Mm-hmm.
So as a freelancer, if you were hired by Eliza to produce this content and get the word out there and all that stuff, as a freelancer, you would be doing that under a paid contract of some kind, but you would be getting on the social media, getting on whatever forums that relevant forums and all that stuff for Eliza, and you would be posting all that content to try to attract clients to the website. Is that correct?
You might.
So I have.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm not, sorry. Go.
I was just going to say, it kind of depends on the relationship with the client. So you're going to have some clients that that you're freelancing for that are more hands-on, and they just need more support from you of getting content ideas and guidance on what to do. And then there's going to be ones that are like, oh my God, I can't, I need to wash my hands of this. I don't have time for this. You just do everything for me. And so in that case, like, yes, for social media, it would be going under their name. and going out and, there's like social media management is in itself an entire profession, and something that, freelancers do, like, make a decent living off of. And that's like posting on social media on their behalf, as well as engaging with people on comments, and, just trying to be a real person and talk with other people out there on behalf of the client. So yes, and it just, again, it depends on the relationship between the client and the freelancer. Agnieszka, more to add?
Yeah. So personally, any client that washes their hands of everything is a problem client, a red flag client, and I would not work with that person on any aspect of their business. Because if somebody's not engaged enough in their company to actually do the minimum or monitor what I'm doing, then they're not going to be it's not going to be a good relationship. We're not going to enjoy each other. Just because their heart is not in it. So I'm working for a dead company that has no energy and no heart in it. And that's the hardest thing to sell. There's no harder thing to sell than something that has no heart in it. So that's one thing. And the second thing, yes, social media management is a completely different than copywriting. Copywriters provide resources to social media managers, but social media managers choose when and how to use those resources. And I am starting to become that. I am starting first time doing it for myself. I've never done it for anybody else because it's not something that I actually trained or done well with, or I've done at all with. But I have to now. I will have a couple of different companies, so I'm gonna have to figure that shit out.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, we all have to remember it takes 20 hours to learn a new skill. So if I want to be social media manager, that's 20 hours and I'm good.
Pete, that was a really great question. I just wanted to add one thing that actually ties into Kara's amazing class that I am a student of. And so I can definitely speak highly of it. And that is part of the reason that I'm here. But if you choose to take the class, and I do highly recommend it, you would get all that information in your audience development gathering information stage. You would know where the people are talking about whatever XYZ topic, at this particular point, we're using polyamory as an example, but whatever you are writing on behalf of your client, part of that, and it is work. That's why you hire people to do this, because it is really important. But the amount of information that you'd gather to even get to the point of like, okay, well, where do I send it? I've got this thing ready to rock and roll. www.whereami.com, right? Like, nobody knows your website yet. Nobody even knows you exist. But during your audience development, and Kara gets into a phenomenal couple of classes just on that, and where to go and what kind of tools you use, and makes it really easy and step by step. So I highly encourage that. But thank you.
Thank you, JL. Love that. Yeah, and as I'm thinking about it now, I mean, a lot of the places where you're going to be doing audience research and finding out where your people are talking, boom, those are more areas that you could drop your lead magnet. Like I see all the time on like Quora, for example. Quora, I do some audience research on Quora, but the problem is that most of the time the answers to the questions are from like if somebody's on there asking a question about, polyamorous coaching, you're going to get nothing but polyamorous coaches answering the questions rather than like the actual audience that you're trying to serve. And so that's where, places like Reddit and stuff are better, I think, for finding messaging and insights directly from the prospects. But as I'm thinking about it now, it's like Quora could be a good place actually to market yourself and go and find those threads where people are asking questions about what you're offering, and boom, you get to provide a bunch of value. Offer like, here's a link to my website. You can go get my lead magnet on here, and, you can go get this awesome resource that's going to help you, with your polyamorous relationship. But there's just another area where you're finding where people that are interested in your service are hanging out. That's where you want to try and market to them.
And frame it as a gift. Hey, you guys struggling with these relationships, here's something that's really valuable, that's going to help you out. It doesn't cost anything. Just download it free on this link. You're not selling anything. You're not asking them to become our customers, nothing. You're just saying, hey, here's a piece of paper that's going to straighten all those convoluted thoughts, and you're going to be able to see where you're at.
Yeah.
See, they can't say no to that. It'd be silly.
And I'm starting to, with my new coaching business, I've just recently started having to, I started posting on Facebook, which is just weird even to say, because I just hate social media and I don't really post. But I was like, hey, I've got this new business and I need to start putting myself out there. So I'm just starting to like drop little pieces of inspiration, not hard selling, not asking them to come and schedule with me, just trying to like put some stuff out there. You know, just put myself out there. I think I said that like 4 times, but yeah.
Hey, you know what I heard? I heard if you do I heard that some guy who did 280 videos, daily videos on Facebook, ended up being fully booked by day 280. So he was doing like a year challenge, daily videos. So then I'm doing this daily video, but it's not daily now. It's like 3-4 times a week. Because I couldn't directly upload and I have to edit every video and it's a mess. Anyway, but it's like 4 times a week. I'm doing videos every week and I want to do 77 videos on Facebook and maybe more. But I learned video editing.
Nice. That's another valuable skill.
20 hours.
I know. You're like those that aren't familiar with what you're talking about are going to learn pretty soon with autonomy. 20 hours to learn anything.
It's kind of funny how much most all of us detest this social media and being on it, but you really have to go where the people are, right? And it reminds me of the example of Jesus. He didn't just hang out in the temple and wait for people to come find him. He went and found the sinners and hung out with them, because that's what you need to do if you want to change the world, right?
Yeah.
Good example of marketing.
Yeah.
Although there's plenty of sinners in the synagogue too, you know.
I just like the idea of Jesus as like the OG marketer. Funny.
He was choosing his target market specifically, you know. He was not going after the rich people. He was going after the poor people. So you have to go where they are. Makes sense.
How do you guys handle ethics within marketing? Let's say you come across a product or service. I mean, you know, do you even consider it? Is it just based on you know, a new client is a new client irregardless of the product or service they're offering? I mean, do you guys consider ethics at all in you know, your wording, you know, all that stuff, and how important is that for you guys personally?
Very. And I think I just felt Michael like stand up out of his seat at the mention of ethics in marketing.
We regularly decline clients with poor moral standing.
You know,
Okay,
it's
good.
I even decline clients when they have good moral standing and they say hands off, then I, you know, still get declined. But yeah.
Ethics is very important to this community and group and Autonomy Unlimited. It's very important. I mean, the tagline for Autonomy Unlimited is where ethical marketing meets integrity. And it is very important to us because, you know, so much of the marketing world is not ethical. And there's so many like manipulative tactics and clickbait and just all these really terrible tactics that people use out there to just sell at all cost. And we're in the business of providing value and trying to like match up services and products that we believe in and that we could stand behind, and trying to match those up with the people that need them most. And so it's like with anything, you know, marketing and copywriting is a tool, and it's definitely up to the user to wield it for good or bad, or anything in between. And so, you know, and this is like something in my course too, that I really focus on like trust-based copywriting. And it is about building trust. And like, you know, some of these, there's different kinds of tactics in marketing, like, you know, scarcity tactics and urgency and these things. And I actually think these can be really great qualities when they're authentic, when they're genuine, when there is genuine urgency or genuine scarcity with something, then absolutely that's great. But these people that like, you know, oh, there's only 2 left, act now, when actually you've got like 100 on the back burner, like things like that are just not genuine and are really shady. we try and stay away from that as much as possible. 100%.
And there's no such thing as pitting businesses against each other, or like that's just ick. So we wouldn't do that either. Michael, ethics.
Yeah, I would just say that, you know, a better word for ethics these days, because it's so misunderstood, would be just excellence. You know, we want to bring excellence, and especially like trust. Like trust is so valuable these days, and this is the thing that I think really is our niche as Autonomy Unlimited, is this ethical marketing aspect. You know, because it's so confused and confusing, and there are a lot of lines, and sometimes those lines are, you know, for some people they're one place, and for other people they're other places, and being able to distinguish, you know, where that line is for you, and then is that bringing you excellence, you know, and is that being perceived differently to your audience. These are the things that we can bring to clientele that they probably never even thought about, and no one's ever talked to them about it.
Absolutely. And I'll even show you, Pete, I'll show you guys here. Michael is a huge factor in this. It was a team effort, but truth over trickery, 5 marketing practices to avoid at all costs, and the ethical ones that you need most. So we actually created a lead magnet for Autonomy Unlimited, all based on ethical marketing. And it is because we are trying to like distinguish ourselves from, you know, these shady marketers that are out there, and that, like, you know, there's marketing is really valuable. And like, you'll hear Richard Grove, I've heard him say before, is like, especially the freedom community has a marketing problem, because it's like one of those things that leaves a dirty taste in all of our mouths. We don't really want to touch it. I never thought I'd end up in marketing. Like, it was never a profession that I thought that I would get into, but I do really enjoy like helping people that have really wonderful services and products and things to put out into the world, and being able to help them like get that out there and get them in front of the right people. Like, that's a very, very valuable thing. And we can do it ethically, and we can do it honestly, and we can do it by building trust with people. Absolutely. Now it's like, it's up to each of us to start bringing more transparency, honesty, and clarity back into the marketplace and into the marketing world. And that's what we're trying to do.
I would just add that there's that, you know, that comfortable lie versus that uncomfortable truth. And of course, like in our area, there is a lot of those uncomfortable truths, and being able to wordsmith those things into an understanding where we can be more intimate with our audience. That's really that key to marketing freedom properly, I think, in the community.
Solving problems and providing value. That's what we're trying to do. Good stuff.
Yeah, you know, I just understood that, you know, obviously there's outright lying, but there's also, you know, just almost subconscious manipulation using words. And, you know, he used wordsmithing as, you know, and that's obviously, you know, much of how the world is run out there. Words rule the world in many ways, and they're used, you know, oftentimes subconsciously to rule over other people, and they can be manipulated without even knowing it, you know, by just using particular words and stringing them in lines, and, you know, basically, you know, attacking their subconscious to make them do certain things or believe certain things or buy certain things.
But you know, most people these days, they're already under attack. Their subconscious is already under attack. Sure. And leading them towards places that will solve that for them, that will help them out of the rut. We do use beautiful sentences, and we do use very well written emails to make sure that the people notice that through the noise, because there's so much noise of that pushy stuff that's like bread and circuses. I did a video on that. All it's bread and circuses. The top 100 searched things on Google is all bread and circuses. There was 2 health questions that were all answered by doctors, no less. And other than that, it was all just junk, like actors, sports, nothing real, nothing real. And So yeah, we also have to use neurolinguistic programming and beautiful sentences to get your attention because everybody else is doing it. And we can't not use the tools that were God-given to us just so that because the bad guys are also using those tools. That would be silly,
No,
right?
I understand that. Yeah.
So yes, we do use neurolinguistic programming to lead people to solutions that they need and they want, not to solutions that we want them to have. And we would never suggest something to somebody who's not interested in it. You know?
Thank you, guys.
There definitely is something of positive propaganda. And the tools that are employed 9 times out of 10, absolutely, Pete, against us for sure. I used to do that actually for a living, get paid to do that. And so I decided to take those skills and make it work for us, to bring health, to bring wellness, to bring happiness. There's a lot of nonsense, very short-sighted, and people selling things that we don't need. And yes, they do. Their sentences are not beautiful sentences strung together. They're hypnotizing, glittering generalities that draw you into a narrative meant to enslave and probably destroy your soul. But I can say and speak for autonomy, this is, I'm a season 6, not graduate yet, but soon to be graduate. I just need to do my interview. And I can say that we do the opposite of that here. So welcome aboard. It's nice to meet you. I'm JL.
Thanks, Jen.
Thanks.
Love it. And I think a lot of it comes back to, intention. And I think the intention behind the words coupled with empathy and just like genuineness, and what we're putting out there. And so, yes, beautifully strung together sentences, but also what's behind it is going to really, what's going to really support the energy and support the message that we're putting out there. And it's not just like, you guys are going to learn in autonomy about sales and, about like, there's that, always be closing. No, about solving problems and like really providing value to one another. And that's the heart of sales.
Yeah, I like that, Cara. It's coming from a place of love and care and attempting to find win-win solutions. The negative side of the marketing that we've been referencing is all about win-lose solutions, where I'm trying to gain value at someone else's expense. The ethical marketing is trying to, like you said, solve problems, come from a place of love and care, and build a better world. A rising tide lifts everyone's boats.
Mm-hmm. Well put. We're getting into our last 15 minutes. I'm wondering if there's more questions or comments or things you'd like to, you guys want to chat about before we call it a day.
I mean, I could ask like the relevancy of the fiction writing that I've been doing as far as translating the skills into copy and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know how to put words on a page, but the words on the page are more so figuring out the puzzle of how do I make the characters, interact, make the story flow and have it be believable.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas my understanding of copy is that it's the puzzle of thing exists and meet the person with the problem with the solution, which is similarities but differences.
Yeah, I mean, obviously copywriting and fiction writing are very different things. But there's definitely some things that I think can translate off, like, I mean, even knowing your audience and knowing, and this is like not just like your readers, but your characters and what makes them tick and motivations. And so this like understanding of people and, their behaviors, this can definitely translate into fiction writing. I mean, obviously, when it comes to marketing your book, there's plenty of copywriting and all involved there. But yeah, of course, fiction writing is very different from copywriting. Yeah, I mean, I don't see a ton of overlap as far as like, you know, it's just a different thing. I mean, you're telling a story. I mean, there's definitely a lot of storytelling in marketing. I mean, people resonate with stories. They really like, that's something that people can really grasp onto and understand and connect with like on a deep level. So, you know, there's definitely like a crossover with the storytelling element between fiction and copywriting for sure. Yeah. Any other thoughts in the room on correlation between fiction and copywriting? No thoughts, even if you're not 100% sure, you just have a bubbling half thought you want to throw out there, anybody?
Well, I'll just congratulate you guys on another excellent copywriting clinic once again. And certainly Agnieszka, man, the way you started off this thing, man, it was just like, bam, you really hit some heavy duty nails that I think most people are just completely unaware of. I mean, as much as we've studied on email and all this other stuff, I'm still, you know, amazed and learning. And I think the subject was great too. You know, I think we're because we're open-minded, freedom-minded people, having this kind of discussion about you know, a polyamorous coach, I thought was is a great tribute to the wide-ranging you know, and open-mindedness of this community.
Yeah, it certainly got my wheels spinning because my book is all about non-standard relationships after all, and kind of lost myself in the research of what it is my characters are. So, because it, you know, just saying the word poly, and then it instantly clicked in my mind that, you know, 3 dragons together, you know, but like it's not a romantic relationship between all of them, you know, because it's a brother, a sister, and their best friend / lover. So this isn't just poly, you know, some Googling and found the term relationship anarchy, which is, you know, like platonic, sexual, romantic, all under the same umbrella of let's work out our own thing and make it happen on our own and screw whatever the norms are, which is exactly what my characters are doing. It's funny to be building something on your own and then see that this thing already exists elsewhere. And just it immediately became kind of on my mind of what would it be like to talk to this coach about my characters, just because.
I'm sure your money is good. You could book a session.
That too. But yeah, it's something that's interesting and probably definitely worth doing once I get a rough draft out, because oh my God, there's so many things I'm worrying about. Trying to get the details of the relationship working is not high priority. Get something to work with and then we can fuss on the details.
Agnieszka, I was wondering where you were posting these videos.
Oh, I have a new channel called Raising Humanity. No, that's not it. Restore Humanity is the new one. The old one is Raising Excellence. Restore Humanity is on Facebook and YouTube and on the old Restore Excellence or Raising Excellence channel. But yeah, it's called Restore Humanity.
Restore Humanity.
And I have a bunch of different videos. Some of them are like our political commentary. Some of them are like, I do it like every week, a tarot reading where I pull some cards and
Did Agnieszka freeze for everyone else too?
Yes.
It's like, is it my internet or her internet?
Making a great point too. I mean, look at that.
I want to know what it was.
That could be the new thing in the class chat. Everybody post their Agnieszka screenshot.
And the best part is there, Nelson, you actually froze in this kind of pose right as you were saying post the screenshot. Like I was scrambling to get the tool, it was too slow.
And
Oh, no, she's back.
It kicked me out. I don't know. I said it's a variety show and it like shut me down.
I know, and you were like frozen right like this, and you were like making this point, and you're it was wonderful.
Yeah, the algorithm didn't like what you were saying.
I think so. When I said political commentary, that's when they started, you know, the cutting thing.
Well, I'll talk to you later then, Agnieszka. You brought it up again, you know how this works.
Right-wing nut.
I switched the internet though, so maybe I'll be back. You know, I'm different.
I got so distracted with the point you were making. I don't remember the point you were making.
Restore humanity.
Is that one planet, one people, our purpose? Is that the right one?
Probably not. No, I think that's something in Africa. Are you looking on YouTube? Oh, here, I'll give you guys the YouTube link.
There you go.
Maybe we're shadow banned because we have an interview with Max Egan on our channel, and so YouTube doesn't really like us because he came over to the house, so we had to have an interview with him, and now you can't even find our fucking channel.
Yeah, he's a sure way to get noticed.
Okay, so there is this one, and then I back it up on the other one, on the Raising Excellence one, because I'm already shadow banned, so what the heck. Here's the other one, and I'll give you guys the Facebook one just to like make it a full round.
That's pretty good that you can get Max Egan because he's got a large following.
It wasn't like, actually, well, it's interesting because we were talking about Max Egan about a year before I met him, and then he showed up like literally in our neighborhood at a neighbor's house when he came from Australia. And then this guy came over to our house. He's like, yeah, I just brought Max Egan here. He's in Bonfield, which is like the neighborhood next door. And we were like, what? Because back when he was in Brisbane, I actually had a little bit of an argument with one of the other autonomizers because she didn't have time to go visit him. And I'm like, go visit him. He just lost his YouTube channel. He's all stressed out. You need to bring him a cup of tea or something. I don't care what you bring him, but go see him. And she didn't. And then I ended up feeding him like stir fry and coffee, and it made me feel good. It fulfilled my dream of taking care of him a year before that when he lost his channel. But yeah, no, he lives just in Acapulco, I think now.
Oh, he moves
So-
around a bit, I think.
Yeah, well, because he got like a few months free at somebody's like summer house or whatever. So he went there to live there for like 6 months because somebody gave it to him for free. But I think he's back in Bonfield now. But he never answers his fucking telegram, so you know. Or he does like 3 months later. Oh yeah, I just got your message from 3 months ago. Would have been nice to see you. Anyway, you guys have all the links now in the chat. Dun, dun, dun.
Thanks.
Awesome. This has been really fun, having a nice mix of like, we've got some, long timers in here, some new folks in here. So this has been a really nice, fun clinic today. And tonight is season 8.
We haven't
alumni
heard-
meet and greet. What?
We haven't heard from Erin yet. I just wanted to say hello.
Erin, we're calling you out.
Hi,
Hi.
Nice to meet you, newbie.
thank you. Nice
I
to meet
was, I was lucky enough to interview Erin recently, guys. She's an awesome chick, girl, woman.
you. The interesting thing is that Van and I came to Autonomy through the same James Corbett video.
Cool.
So that was fun to find out in our interview.
Awesome.
Nice. That's awesome.
Awesome. Well,
Well, I'm happy to see all the new season people.
I know. I think we're gonna, we've got a lot new this season. Like, I think we're already on track to beat, like, so we, enrollment stays open through most of the season. So at least, like, people can enroll in this current season up through week like 6 or 8. And so anyways, last season, we through the whole time, like up until like, 6-8 weeks into the season, we're already like just about beat that number. And of course, hasn't even started yet. So my point is that we've got a lot of new folks this season, really excited. It's going to be a good one. And I'm going to be participating this season. Again, I'm a season 2 graduate, but I have this new venture that I'm starting, and a new lens. And so I'm gonna dive in head first this season and participate with you all. It'll be fun.
And Cara, what do you contribute the relative recruitment success to?
There's a lot of factors this season, actually. Lots of different things. We did updates to like our sales pages and a lot of like our like obstacle course and blueprint pages, lots of things that just really needed clearer content and just like updated copy. And so a lot of that stuff got improved. We also had a new copywriter come onto our team, Patrick, who's former graduate, and he's the one that's been busting out those awesome emails 3 times a week. That's been a huge factor. There's a lot of factors. In a recent team marketing meeting, Joshua was actually showing some metrics of like our autonomy funnel and all the different components between like lead magnets and then the sales pages, these various pages, and showed like a significant uptick this season in their performance as opposed to the last few seasons. So we just really upped our marketing game, upped our content and strategies, and got some more strong team members on the team. And so there's a lot of cool things that contributed to it this season.
That's a term
Sorry, go ahead.
No.
I was going to say the reason I live in Mexico now is because of autonomy, because I would never have the guts to like leave with 6 suitcases if I didn't go through the autonomy thing before. So, and by the way, we're going up into the mountains and we're going to go into the villages where they do the Dia de los Muertos really well. And then we're going to drive up to Puerto Vallarta, up to the Freedom Festival in Puerto Vallarta, where I'm presenting and doing a workshop and doing a panel. And I get free camping, so I get to live in a tent. But I thought it would be better to live in a tent and be closer to the people and to maybe do some marketing with the people. So I'm sacrificing my comfort. And and then we're going to visit Erwin's kids who live up there, my partner's kids, down to Acapulco. And I'm going to do videos the whole time. So if you guys want to subscribe to my channel, this is just like, I'm just saying, I don't make any money from it. I'm just learning how to do videos, but it's a lot of fun. And it's an expression of my true soul.
Nice. That's awesome, Agnieszka. Cool.
And I'm really looking forward to the parade in some village in Morelia. My friend Lexi promised me that it was going to be something out of this world. And then I read somewhere that 300,000 people are going to be there for this parade.
Wow. Nice.
So
cool. All right, you guys, let's call it a wrap for this month. This is a great clinic. I hope to see a bunch of you tonight. I know I'll be on camera, probably telling my story as well. And yeah, Agnieszka will be there too. I'm sure Michael will be there. Nelson, hope you can be there too. And Cody, it's going to be a fun night.
I have to be
very much for your feedback today. I think there was a ton of value there. Really appreciate your time and energy.
For sure. Yeah. Let us know what Eliza thinks of our comments.
Right on.
And if she needs to, and she has any questions, she can always text us. We'll answer her. We're friendly and such.
Yeah. We are. All right, you guys. Go
Awesome.
Have
Thank
a
you.
fabulous afternoon, evening, whatever time it might
Couple
be.
hours and get back to the computer.
And hope to see you guys tonight.
See you all tonight.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Nice meeting you all, newbies.
Yes. Cool.